Hello everybody, Flaming Shark back with another video, and we're here with another review this time actually doing a review to a series that, not a archive review, but actually a review for a new reaction. This one's going to be for episodes 293 through 296 of Fairy Tail. So this one's going to be interesting because, yeah, I don't really care about these reviews at all, and while my last one for 289 to 292 of Fairy Tail, I like to think that I did a fairly decent job. I'm just gonna kind of wing this, and yeah, I mean, I might not even talk about all the episodes, I really don't know, but I do have my the plot summaries up for the episodes and stuff, so, obviously I can have that for refreshing in the memory, although I did just watch these episodes right before recording this review, so they are fresh in my mind. But even so, I'm a potato with my memory sometimes. It's like I remember so much and yet so little at the same time, which is why I like to go over a lot of these episodes again at least one more time after I react to them. Which I have not done. I'm just fresh off my blind reactions to these 4 episodes, which of course links are down below in the description if you want to check out my full blind commentary, blind reaction to episodes 293 to 296. There will be several links down below for that. And otherwise, just stick around for the review if you want or care or whatever. That's cool if you do that. Thanks. But obviously if you don't, I totally get it, because these reviews are memes, and this one might actually be semi-decent, but probably not. So anyways, 293. I'm not even gonna bother saying that title because it's such a meme, but anyways, all I'll say is it's related to a certain potato who happens to have very interesting parfum. But anyways, so obviously at this point, kind of going back to what happened last time in 289 to 292, we've beaten Agil, and we've beaten, we've kind of beaten Brandish, because we just kind of meme punch her with Kana, and we just capture her easily because of allergies. She loses to allergies from Agil's sand, which is so silly and just so perfect. But anyways, who cares about that? So we're dealing with Wall. So there's a group of Juvia, Gray, Lizana, Mira Jane, and Elfman, and they struggle with Wall's magic, which is weakness magic. And basically he makes soldiers who their abilities are catered to the weaknesses of their opponent, and then the same thing happens over at Cardia Cathedral, where the Thunder Legion is getting fucked by because you have Bixlow and Evergreen are getting fucked by that, and they're trying to get to Freed, who's got the barrier over Magnolia, and I'm about to sneeze pretty soon, I think, so it's probably coming, and I'm totally not going to cut this out because there's absolutely no need to cut anything, even though, God, Jesus, that Mayan sounds loud. I bet some of that has to be coming in on your end, because I can hear gunshots and everything, and hopefully it's fine, and Mayans don't copyright strike me because audio is playing or something ridiculous. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on there, and what happens is that basically Wall's weakness soldiers are just fucking the shit out of the Fairy Tail crew, and then they have this miraculous epiphany. Oh wait, what if we just switch enemies? And then literally just like that, we win. Like, that's just it. Fairy Tail, like, once they just switch opponents, they all just fuck them up. And it's really funny because the fact that the weakness soldiers are that easily countered just by, like, basically if there's more than one opponent there, you can just switch your opponents and then it's is like actually really pathetic. And the fact that the soldiers can't like trade powers or something to kind of counter that is actually really sad. And it's funny because this guy talks all about, you know, eliminating weakness, and yet that's such a huge and obvious weakness in his fighting style that just honestly it feels like a Spriggan 12 should be above that. So I was a little disappointed in Wall. Then he ends up getting completely wrecked by Freed and Ichia, and they just kill the guy. And it was really weird and really it was really easy, and I was really disappointed. I was like, wow, I mean, Agil had such a cool like defeat, and then Brandish didn't really get defeated. That was a meme, so it was like I was letting that one go, but this one was really bad. But then we learned that it was just Wall's puppet, and the real Wall has not gotten in the fight yet, so that made it okay when they fucked him up, so that was fun. What else happened in this particular episode? He the puppet blew himself up, and they kind of made this implication. Clearly Ichia was going to survive, but they made this implication that the Thunder Legion were going to die, which, surprise, surprise, didn't lead to them dying, but they kind of implied that they might die, and then they didn't. So, so you have Demaria, whose name I need to get used to. Demaria and Wall are on one of the ships from the Alvarez fleet, and they're talking, and then Wall brings out, and this is I'm happy this name is on the summary because I want to get this right. The super long distance anti-material magic cannon. I swear it was longer than that when he said that, because he said it really fast. When he said that in the episode, I was like, that has to be one of the worst names for a weapon I have ever heard in any show, ever. And it was just hilarious, and it was such a anime nonsense of a name, and it was great. And I hear more gunshots. And my bad. But anyways, so he decides to blast the guild from 400 kilometers away, which I think is kind of ridiculous that they were that far away. But sure, why not, right? So he blasts the guild, and then what happens is that Ichia manages to send Christina in the way of the guild, so the blast hits Christina instead and destroys it, and basically he calls for all of Fiore to come, and basically all of Fiore now is going to kind of back up Fairy Tail, and this kind of officially becomes the Alvarez Empire versus the Fiore Kingdom, the Alvarez Empire versus the Kingdom of Fiore kind of war that it was always meant to be, but at the beginning was kind of just Alvarez versus Fairy Tail, but we knew it would eventually become Alvarez versus Fiore because we're not stupid. And that was the episode. So everyone's going to show up, and they show a bunch of people who are going to get into the fight in the coming episodes, and yeah, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And yeah, this was a fun episode for a lot of reasons, but mainly because we had some, kind of bad action, if I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really wasn't into that at all, but we did have some drama with the Thunder Legion. Of course, they were fine. So, really looking back on it, this episode actually wasn't that great, but I enjoyed it, which is all that matters. But actually, it was a little annoying. But the Brandish thing was really funny, but we will get a lot more with Brandish in the coming episodes. And yeah, let me pull up the next episode, in fact, so I should actually get these all ready. So go boom, and we go boom. Okay, so let's go to 294. So this was Natsu vs. Zareth, episode 294 of Fairy Tail. So I actually saw the title. I saw the titles for 294 and 295. I didn't see them for 293 and 296, but I saw the verses, because obviously verses was in English, the English VS dot symbol that's used for verses is kind of a universal symbol for verses. And I was like, oh, it's a versus episode, because obviously Fairy Tail has quite a few episodes that are X person versus X person, and those are I like those titles, as simple as they are. And I was like, I'm curious who this is, so I decided to turn on the subtitles, go back and check it out, and it was Natsu versus Zareth, and I was like, okay, what? And sure enough, this episode wasn't even lying, because as all the guilds and everyone from all across the kingdom show up to fight, Natsu goes over. Natsu decides, I'm going to take out Zeref and end this early. So, Mavis is coming up with all her plans, which are really cool. But then Natsu's just like, screw it. Let's just end this. Let's kill Zeref and just be done with it. And so he goes out to Zeref. He kills he defeats a little under 1,000 of Zeref's million forces. He's got like 1 million soldiers, and like I said, Natsu took out the number was, it was more than 900, it was less than 1,000, I don't remember the exact number, but he takes out a bunch of soldiers, and then Zeref comes to the front lines to meet Natsu, tells all his soldiers to go a couple kilometers away to back off, and then what ends up happening is they fight, and Natsu pulls out his special trick, which is the rest of Igniel's power, his dying wish and all that kind of basically was the power that Natsu had left, and it was really cool. And basically he hit Zeref with it, and he actually hurt him, and then Natsu was like, okay, I think I have one more shot, and Zeref was like, damn, well, that's really cool, because one more shot of that might actually kill me. So before he potentially dies, Zeref tells Natsu the truth. He tells Natsu that they're brothers and that his full name is Zeref Dragniel. He tells Natsu the story of how he got paired with Igniel. He tells Natsu how they're from 400 years ago and they did the whole time travel thing, and how it relates to Anna Heartfilia and Layla Heartfilia, Lucy's mom, with the Eclipse Gate, and just all this crazy stuff that actually comes together quite well and actually shows some level of intricate storytelling from Hero that I actually really appreciated, because it's a lot of things that had been set up from the beginning that actually started to piece together quite well and make sense, and I really enjoyed that. So they did a good job there, and I really liked that. And then, Natsu originally didn't want to believe it, but it's pretty clear that he did realize that what Zeref was saying was true, and then Zeref also gives Natsu this kind of final warning that's like, because you're from the Book of END and you're one of my demons, if you kill me, you die as well. And I think that was that kind of solidified my thought that, because I don't see Natsu dying in this show, and it's very possible, and I'm sure a lot of people saw that and are like, okay, Natsu's going to die at the end. But I've been thinking this whole time that they're going to reform Zeref, and he's not going to die, and he's going to join Fairy Tail, and I think that's going to happen. I still think that's going to happen. And I honestly feel like, based on what happened in this episode, I think the fact that we've kind of given this confirmation that Zeref dying means Natsu dying, if that's actually how it's going to go, I think that further adds to the fire that Zeref's not going to die, and in my opinion is going to end up joining Fairy Tail by the end of the series. As crazy as that seems right now, I still get this feeling they're going to reform him, because friendship is indeed magic, especially in anime. So, other stuff going on at the time. Invel, okay, that's the name of the general boy. So Invel tells Zeref that Agil and Brandish got fucked, but obviously Zeref's like, they're not dead though, and that's one of the weaknesses of them. Anyways, so they're attacking all that stuff, and the Fairy Tail, Mavis creates two teams, one to head to the north and one to head to the south, to support the various guilds, whether it be Lamia Scale or Mermaid Heel or Sabretooth or whoever, Blue Pegasus. There's one group that has Blue Pegasus and Sabretooth, the other being Lamia Scale and Mermaid Heel, and basically they send two teams of powerful wizards to support them. And then in the east, they send the four Emperors of Iliaster to take out the team that's August, Jacob, obviously Jacob is a Spriggan 12, August is the Spriggan 12, who knows as much, if not more magic than Zareth, and then God Serena, who was the most powerful wizard in all of Fiore and was the #1 Emperor of Iliaster before he turned, he went turncoat and all of that. So really cool stuff there. And it was really cool because all that was going on. But anyways, going back to the Natsu Zareth thing, basically Natsu goes for the second and final use of Igniel's remaining power and his dying will that he had to kill Zareth, and Zareth's all crying because he's like, oh my god, I might actually get to die. And you think, Mavis and Layla and Anna and Igniel and everyone that he cared about that helped him to this point. And then that's basically the episode. They go cliffhanger cuck time. And it was actually really good. So, yeah. And then as far as episode 295 was kind of basically... they tell a lot of stories about the past. It's called, Beyond 400 Years or Across 400 Years or whatever. They basically just tell a lot of that backstory that I kind of already mentioned in 294 about how everything's linked between Igniel and Anna and Layla and the Eclipse Gate and just all this craziness that all kind of correlates together, and it was really cool. And basically their plan to send warriors into the future to kill Acnologia, and obviously how Wendy, Gajiel, Natsu, Sting, and Rogue were involved in that, being the Dragon Slayers, and how the 7th day, July 7th, 777, that whole nonsense, how that's connected. And basically they just explained a lot of the loose ends of the series in this episode, and also kind of the stuff that I already talked about, like the God Serena ends up cucking the 4 emperors of Iliaster. I said oh my god, I don't know where that's from. Emperors of Ishgar. You basically just beat all of them, and they didn't even bother showing it on screen, which is kind of unfortunate because they're saving God Serena's abilities. And I'm kind of mixing this together because this goes into the actual ending of 296, but they imply that Warren's gonna die, and they even show a part where Mavis kind of senses that Warren's about to die, and it's really sad, but also really cool because we're deep enough in where I think we need a death of a character, and of course they're going to kill the character who's like 100 million years old, but that's, someone's got to die here, so that's cool. If someone's going to die, Warren's a good place to start. I'm not sure if Jorah and the other two are going to die or not. Jorah dying would be a little like sauce because he's been a character throughout the series. The other two, not as much, but we're going to get something out of that, so that's going to be interesting to find out next time. I know I'm kind of like transitioning around, which I hope is fine. But anyways, and then the last episode, you have the Brandish and Lucy stuff really take center stage, where Brandish tells the story about how Layla killed her mother. So Lucy's mom killed Brandish's mom. Meanwhile, she manages to start to suffocate Lucy and all this, and then who comes to the rescue? There's a spilled thing of water, and of course, this is the time for Aquarius to make her grand return, which I predicted all the way back when we first lost her back in Tartaros. I predicted it. I knew it was coming. We would get Aquarius back. It was so obvious. So then Aquarius tells the story about how the story of what happened with Brandish's mother, and how Brandish, like, Aquarius is like Brandish's mistress, and it's really hot. And I haven't really been mentioning this, but kind of throughout this, in the scenes involving Brandish, Kana, and Lucy, I swear to God, this just felt like the setup for like a lesbian three-way. And it was just great because it gave off the vibes of like Kana and Lucy are like lesbian lovers. Kana's the dom and Lucy's the sub, and them trying to seduce Brandish into a weird threesome. Maybe it was just me, but that's honestly the vibes I was getting from it, which, to be fair, are kind of par for the course with Fairy Tail, but honestly, it was really weird. As far as other stuff that happened, like I said, they tell, Aquarius tells this whole story about how Brandish's mom really died, how Layla had nothing to do with it, how it related to the Eclipse plan, or the plan involving the Eclipse Gate and all of that, which was really cool. And just all this stuff that was, really emotional. And then in the end, it's kind of interrupted by Happy bringing in Natsu, who is just fucking like lifeless now, because something that I forgot to mention is that at one point after is that what ended up happening was before Natsu could go and use his second Igneo Strike, Happy stopped him and flew away with him because he didn't want Natsu to die, because obviously Zeref said that if Natsu kills Zeref, Natsu dies as well, all that stuff, and it was very sauce. But then at some point he just kind of went limp, and they basically explained that he's been overusing his magic for so long, and he developed an anti-ether nano tumor because of it, and basically it fucked him up. And basically in the end, though, there was no one who could save him, but then Brandish decided to save him because of Brandish's magic to shrink anything. She was able to shrink the anti-ether nano tumor to make it so small that it wouldn't affect Natsu at all, which is fucking cool. Like, that's really badass. The medical uses for her ability, the fact that her ability, if you know the precise location of a cancer tumor, she could literally like be a cure for cancer, is really cool. And I like that application of her power. That's really like clever. That's the type of stuff where it's like, I don't see a lot of that in Fairy Tail, where they really kind of dig into applications for some of these abilities that you wouldn't think of right off the top of your head. So I really like how they did that with Brandish's abilities, because Brandish has such versatile abilities, and to see one of the many uses being the medical uses for her powers was really cool. They kind of do this weird thing where it's like, are we enemies? And then she's kind of like, she asks to go back to her cell, and she's like, yeah, we're still enemies, because she's still loyal to Spriggan, Emperor Spriggan. So that was cool. I like how just because she doesn't really hate Lucy or doesn't have that deep drive for revenge or whatever, she's still seeing herself as a Spriggan 12, which I really like that, because it's like you can still be, there's a mix there. And then they show that God Serena curb stomped the 4 emperors of Ishgar, and they say that he says he's gonna make like firewood out of Warren, and then Warren's all sad, and they show Mavis seeing like, oh no, he's gonna die, and that's it, and that's where the episode ends, and that's where our set of episodes end. And generally speaking, it was a really good set of episodes. I really enjoyed them. I thought the backstory in that kind was really good, because it linked a lot of things in the series that hadn't been explained, that had actually been involved in the story since the beginning. The July 7th 777 stuff has been in the story since episode 1, with Natsu looking for his dad who vanished on that day, and obviously the stuff with Lucy's mom dying on that day, and just all the things that, or whatever. I don't know if she died on that day, but I actually don't think she did, but no, she definitely did. So I don't know how that works, because Grammy was able to get there. That's Brandish's mom in that time. I don't know. That was a little weird, honestly. That's a little wonky, but whatever. At that point, why couldn't she have given her the key? And but oh well, little inconveniences there. But the point is that they really tied together a lot of the story in recent episodes, between giving us the Mavis Zeref backstory. The Natsu Zeref backstory wasn't that long ago. Giving us all this backstory about Zeref's plan, both to kill Acnologia as well as to kind of hopefully eventually die, and like all this stuff coming together, and just explaining a lot of the mystery behind the series really kind of emphasizes the fact that we are in the end game, or at least entering the end game of Fairy Tail, which is really cool and one of the things I like the most about these episodes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I really enjoyed the episodes. There were some issues, but I think overall they were really good, and there was a lot of good explanations and stuff, and so far I'm really enjoying this arc. It's not perfect, and there's a lot of time for it to get bad, but so far, at least for now, I'm not agreeing with the consensus that this arc sucked, because I know a lot of people don't like this arc. But we'll see what happens, because, you know, I will admit, I got slightly nervous that Natsu was going to curb stomp Zeref right there, and I was going to go on a crazy rant if that happened. But luckily it didn't, and I actually really liked what they did with that scene. And now Natsu knows about his brother, about END, about being a demon, all that stuff. So now it's just a matter of when will Gray learn about this, because when Gray finds out, that's still the thing I've been waiting for more than anything else. But lots of great stuff, really enjoyed it. This one was almost 30 minutes, again, mostly just me kind of summarizing the plot and stuff, and, you know, looking at a few notes and stuff. But yeah, you know, just kind of giving a general opinion, like I said, another form of redirect of sorts, but actually giving you guys a video if for whatever reason you want to watch this, or even if for some miraculous reason you'd rather watch this than the reaction. It's kind of almost like a bridge reaction where I give my general thoughts while also going over what happened in the episodes. So anyways, I didn't know. I thought this might actually have been another half-assed one, but I actually went on for... This is actually, I think, longer than the Infinity Train one or the first Fairy Tail one. So I guess for the actual new stuff, I'm pretty willing to talk about this stuff. And I enjoy talking about in these episodes and, you know, giving my thoughts and giving even more thoughts on these episodes. It's actually really fun. So it's annoying for the old stuff. That sounds like hockey. I love me some hockey. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction, review, whatever. Both, one, whatever you decided to do. But whatever the case may be, it's time for me to bid you adieu. Flamin' Shark, signing out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I will see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.